Welcome to MMA Takes Podcast YouTube channel. We have a UFC dream card that we just picked. Listen to the podcast. It's out now. Link in the bio, link in the description, wherever they fucking say. So we got my man Devin Tejada. You know him, you love him. He's going to give you a rundown of his card. And then we got the newcomer, Tim Mitchell, who's going to run down his. And then I'll come up the rear with my card. So Devin, tell us where your card is taking place and your 5-card main lineup, pal.
I'm going to go with Moscow, Russia. That's where it's at. I would like to see what the fans are like in Russia. Love to see a Russian crowd. I think it'd be pretty interesting,
Right.
especially with
cold soup and wearing those fucking hats Khabib wears, probably.
There's another stage that has a small circus with like bears on bikes and shit, and then a guy in a wife beater fighting a bear.
Russia is wild. I've never been. An old supervisor of mine lives in Russia now. He's like obsessed with it. And he posts on Facebook every once in a while, and he looks miserable. So, but listen, they got some fights. They got some fucking guys over there. So let's see who you got. Main event. Who's your main event, Devin?
They got Khabib and GSP. That's my main event for the super lightweight title, 165. Everybody wants a 165-pound division.
I like how you named it, super lightweight.
Super lightweight.
Yeah.
There's at this point with the coronavirus and all the other bullshit that's happening. During the podcast, you talked about how much money the UFC needs to generate for the ESPN deal.
Yep.
You want to make some money? Make another title.
That's money.
Make another title.
That's money.
And then it's money forever from there, because if, say, GSP wins, Conor can step in and take that fight.
So many guys would like to fight at 165. You put the coronavirus is obviously a horrible thing, but it might have been a blessing for UFC because Dana White's like, let's just throw that in there. Let's add another fucking title. I don't know. And move 170 to 175. I'm sure the guys at 170 aren't going to mind cutting to 175 instead of 170.
And then everything else just stays where it's at. Like 185 is already a big jump. Those dudes have no problem making that. I mean, some of them have no problem making it. But everything else just, leave it as it is. Just bump up 170 to 170. Because at 170, like if you look at the body types, there's a lot of dudes that are making hard fucking cuts at 170, man.
Yeah.
Hard fucking cuts. And then hard fucking cuts at 155.
Yep.
So, I mean, everybody kills themselves, but 155ers and 170ers, those guys are making hard fucking cuts because they're not big dudes. They don't retain a lot. They don't retain a lot of body mass. It's just like lean muscle, and that's it.
I like it. Who's your co-main?
So my co-main is going to be for what should be possibly the light heavyweight title. It's going to be Dominic Reyes and Thiago Santos.
Woo! Universal pick. We all three had that, possibly as a co-main event. That's a good fight.
You never know. These are two guys that arguably both beat John Jones. They're really great fighters. I don't know if they have crazy drawing power, but I think that if they were to fight in a card like the one I'm picking, it would bring a lot of eyes to that light heavyweight division outside of John Jones.
Love it.
All right, next fight.
Who's your third fight, huh? You went big boys.
Third fight is going to be DC versus Francis Ngannou. Stipe and DC3 would have to be for a title.
Yep.
We've already seen Stipe and Francis fight. Everybody else at heavyweight is already kind of like, what are you going to do? Throw Curtis Blades in there? You can't. Everybody loves DC. DC's super well known. Francis Ngannou is very well known in the MMA sphere. And then outside of that, he's, pretty fucking well known too. A lot of famous actors and actresses, take pictures with him. Francis Ngannou is a pretty well known guy. It's a really intriguing matchup. Will DC's wrestling and his stand up be able to do what what Stipe did to Francis, or can Francis just put him away like he's done to everybody else besides Stipe? It would be a really, really intriguing fight. And this is also if Stipe wasn't in the picture, because if DC fights again, it's going to be Stipe.
Right.
It's a fantasy card. It fit well on there.
Number 2, you went ladies. You went the ladies.
Great matchup. It's going to be Rose and Jessica Andrade for a rematch. The first fight was going one way so dramatically, and then things changed so dramatically the other way, and that's why we love MMA. So you never know what's going to happen if they run it back. Rose is really, really technical. Outside of Wiley, and then maybe comparable with Wiley, she is the most technical fighter in all aspects of mixed martial arts in that 115-pound division for women, in my opinion. If she can get her head right, she would be the champion.
Yep.
And then Andrade is just a fucking bulldog. She's got big power. She'd pick you up and drop you on your head, and that's what happened to Rose the first time. I think it'd be really, really intriguing to watch them run it back. It was scheduled. Rose had to pull out because she had some family members die from the coronavirus.
Goddamn
coronavirus. I understand that. I understand it, man. Tim and I talked a little bit of shit about Rose because of her pulling out of fights, but if someone in your family dies from the coronavirus, I would pull out of the fight too.
It's rough.
Can't fuck around with that shit.
Yeah. All right. First fight of the night. Who you got?
Is going to be the Sugar Show, Sean O'Malley versus Cody Stamann. I think it's a big step up in competition for him. Stamann's number 8 in the division. I think O'Malley is he even is he 15 or is he in the top 15?
No, he's not.
He's not, top
right?
15? Nope.
But he should be, man. He should be.
Yeah.
And I think he's Brian Kelleher's called him out. A lot of other guys have called out Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley is probably even though he's not ranked, arguably as much of a star as maybe like a Pedro Munoz, maybe even more well-known than Pedro Munoz. As far as today, he's really active on social media. He'll bring a lot of eyes, and he's really, really a great fighter, man. The kid's, he's long, he's lean, he's technical, he's flashy, he's got good power. He can apparently grapple now too. He did well in the grappling events. Cody Stamann's going to try to put him on his back. So I would like to see if Sean O'Malley can put his jiu-jitsu to the test, and then hurt him on the feet. I would love to see that fight. I think it's a great card opener.
It is a good card opener. That's a good card. That's a solid card. That's an A+ card. I pay money for that card. I won't go to Russia, but I'll pay money for that card. All right, Tim Mitchell, newcomer. Who you got, bud? Let's give me a rundown of your card. Main event.
We're fighting out of AT&T Stadium in Dallas, Texas. Cowboys. Main event. We're doing the ultimate bad blood match, man. It's John Jones versus Izzy Adesanya for the 205 belt.
Woo!
It doesn't get any bigger than that right now.
No, that's a sick fight.
When fights happen, with DC and John, for instance, when you can feel the animosity, hatred between these two, that's when you start. That's when you bring in the outside fans, the casuals, because they think it's real, which it is. And it is too. They're so skilled in each of their own respective ways, and I've got John Jones taking that down if it does happen, if and when. I think that fight, if John Jones can just get out of jail, that fight will happen.
Yeah, I love it. Co-main event.
Co-main. It's tough putting this guy on the co-main, but we're going with the notorious one, Conor McGregor versus Nate Diaz with the trilogy.
I love it.
Nate knows he's always got that money fight in his back pocket. Conor knows, if shit starts getting bad, if he goes and fights Tony or even Justin or Khabib and he loses, he's still got a huge money fight with Nate no matter what. That's a fight that everybody wants to see and will always want to see. Whether it's 5 years down the road or next week, we're always going to want to see that fight because those guys just brought it. And again, it's a hatred. Guys are throwing water bottles at each other at the press conference and nearly fighting at every.
Fucking nothing. I can't do an Irish accent.
Me neither, but it was funny. This is a trend with my card. Third fight of the night. You got the Raw American Steel and Sex Appeal Colby Covington versus former champ Tyron Woodley.
I love how you introduce him like that.
Man.
I love it.
You can sell. I'll give it to him. Yeah, the guy can sell tickets, and people love to hate people, and everybody hates him.
Right.
Especially Tyron Woodley. They've been talking about having this fight since Tyron was champ. So I think that's a fight that everybody would want to see as well. And it'll be a title eliminator or a number one contender fight. Because I think Usman and Masvidal is 100% next. You've got Leon Edwards, Leon Scott, as my boy would call him. But I think that'll be a great fight. But second fight of the night, we've got two legends. One definitely a legend. One's could maybe be a legend if you can turn it around. But we've got Jose Aldo versus Cody No Love Garbrandt at the bantamweight. These guys really need to turn it around. They're both on losing streaks. Aldo's with his last one being questionable. Cody's been knocked out 3 times in a row. This is really a middle of the road, where you're going up or down. So I think everybody knows both of those fighters. They're very well recognized. So that'll be a good one. And then to kick off the fight of the night, we've got a lingerie match between fucking Macy Barber.
Couple ladies.
They've been going back and forth on social media. I think Macy's been coming at her more so. Paige is on her way out of MMA. She's doing way too much advertising and fucking making pictures with her boyfriend, which I'm not complaining, but I don't think she's very serious about the fight game anymore. So that's my fights. That's my fight card. And yeah.
It's fucking good. It's
love
really good.
I love the card. It's a great card. Let me tell you about my card here, boys. Okay. We got Kamaru Usman versus Jorge Masvidal, and we're doing this in Lagos, Nigeria. Population 7.9 million people. Nigerian nightmare. Putting this 170-pound. Huh? What'd you say, Dev?
You said you just Googled that shit.
I did, 100%. I know. I literally
Lagos, Nigeria.
Yeah.
You did not know that 10 minutes ago.
No, Lagos, Nigeria, right here. City, towns, villages in Nigeria. I have no idea. I had to Google it. I had to put a city on it, bro. So we got Kamaru Usman versus Jorge Masvidal, 170-pound title. You got to get behind that fight. The fight's going to happen. It's not going to happen in Nigeria, but we're going to get behind it. Co-main event, my guy Darren Till versus Jared Cannonier. Basically, essentially 185-pound eliminator. I like Till in that fight. Everyone knows Till's my guy. Jared Cannonier is a fucking scary man. Scary man, but I think Darren Till can get it done. Third fight of the night, a bantamweight bout that I want to see. I've been wanting to see for a while. Aljamain Sterling versus Petrie Yan. Yan's another one who's a bad motherfucker, too. Aljo, another bad motherfucker, but we got to see these guys fight each other to see who's going to fight for Cejudo. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see at 135. Second fight of the night, Edmund Shabazian, the king of up-and-comers at 185. Everyone loves this fucking kid. He's fighting Kelvin Gastelum. Kelvin Gastelum is no punk. The Kevin Gastelum is a guy who almost beat the current 185 champion. I was there live, no big deal. They might run it back one day, but Kevin Gastelum's got to get some wins. And what better way to take out a young, fucking strapping dude like Edmund Shabazian? And then the first fight of the night, we're going to go ladies. We're going to go Amanda Hebos versus Tatiana Suarez. Amanda Hebos, if you're watching this, I know I'm married, but go ahead and follow me on MMA Takes Podcast because you are sweet looking. So that is my card. We're going to put a vote up on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. Vote for who has the best card. What card do you want to see? And that's it. That's the MMA Takes Podcast guarantee. I appreciate you guys. Subscribe, like, and all that shit. I'll see you. On the computer. There we go. Recording. MMA Takes YouTube. We just did a fantasy dream card for the UFC. Since there's no MMA, we have to use our imaginations. And right when we recorded, Devin dropped out.